Now we review Longlegs. Yes, yes. Do they go all the way up? No, they don't. Oh, well, that's disappointing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard, and I have seen Longlegs. Yes, Longlegs. Longlegs is the story of a FBI agent who is recruited to seek out a serial killer because she's psychic. It's a little weird. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a lot weird. Okay, so for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from the company 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you'd be doing your part for a better world. Now, we have a FBI agent. She's recruited. They're going to do a door-to-door canvassing. She goes out there with her partner. She goes, bad guy in there, bad guy in there, bad guy's in there. FBI goes, well, okay, this chick apparently is going to get put on one of our hardest cases because we're stumped on this case. Dude's been killing people for a while, and we need to deal with it, all right? And she eventually finds a pattern in the murders and begins seeking suspects and finding people. And to be completely honest with you, the plot of this is one of those things that probably sounds really good when you write it, and it's not as good when you watch it because it's a little like, oh, come on. We're not getting a lot of answers here. There's clearly something bigger attached to this universe, and it's not as satisfying. I mean, it's like, the creepy dolls thing. There are these creepy handmade dolls, and they have metal balls inside of their heads, and the metal balls have some sort of a significance, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to go any further than that, but, I mean, really, this whole film has a discount Silence of the Lambs sort of a feel, but being discount Silence of the Lambs, they remove the Hannibal Lecter, which is kind of the big thing of Silence of the Lambs, and this version of Buffalo Bill doesn't cut people apart and make suits out of them. He's played by Nicolas Cage. And I will say that this particular Nicolas Cage, had I not walked into this movie knowing that this was Nicolas Cage, I probably would not have known that this was Nicolas Cage. I'm going to be flatly honest with you here. I mean, there are a few moments where, yes, it sounds like him, but I feel he actually masks his voice pretty well. I know other people have said, oh, it sounds like somebody doing a Nicolas Cage impression. Well, no, it doesn't. It sounds like Nicolas Cage playing a rather extreme character, and I have to admit, you know what? I thought this was a really excellent performance by Cage. It's a very sparing performance. He's not in it a lot. He never gives you the creepy I'm afraid of you vibe. It's just one of those things about this. Now, in the Wikipedia of this, it says that his character looks like that because he's addicted to some form of plastic surgery. So he looks all macked up, and it's like, yeah, okay, it's bad plastic surgery. That's why he's that kind of a weirdo. And the moments you get with his character are legitimately insane. I will say that he is a very strange person. Now, Micah Monroe, I think it is. She's the chick from It Follows. She plays the FBI agent. Her involvement is, I mean, it almost feels like the script is happening to her as opposed to she's actually making these strides, and that is probably part of this film. It's probably intentional that this is a situation that is almost fated to happen, and she is just, moving forward through this story as if being drawn by a horse. I mean, it's like this was going to happen, it is happening, and there's no stopping it. And it's this just snowball rolling down a hill for the entire film. Now, again, this is a retro film. I believe it's like 80s, 70s to 80s, kind of a retro to it. And that's solid enough. I felt that it did feel like an older film. It felt like it something I would have watched in the 80s. I mean, basically speaking, if this film were part of a double feature, you would have Silence of the Lambs as the A movie, and this would be the B movie. And it was a very solid B movie. It can stand on its own. In fact, I think this film will probably get a cult following. Here's the thing, though, is that on the one hand, it's getting a 7.3 on IMDb. It's getting an 86 from critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 63 from audiences. So people aren't liking this as much as critics, which puts it in the artsy-fartsy realm. And Fandango agrees with a 64%. So, I mean, that's still a passing grade. It rounds up to a C, and you got to figure that's the best movie in the world gets an A-. So understand that much. There's no such thing as a perfect film. However, the most common score on Google for this, the mode score, is a 1. So a lot of people just watched this film and hated it. And that's just one of those things. Apparently this film is very polarizing. Either you're going to like this film or you're going to hate this film. And typically speaking, when a film has that kind of a profile, that profile does say that it is going to be a cult classic film. If it has a everybody likes it, that's a classic film. Okay, Star Wars is not a cult classic. They don't have a small group of dedicated fans. They have a large group of psychotic fans. That's why Star Wars is a classic, as opposed to this, which, I mean, it's never going to be as good as Silence of the Lambs. Okay, it's just not. It's not a bad movie per se. Okay, it's a solid film, but, and this is a big, rather round, supple but, if you are going to watch this film, you need to go in there knowing that a lot of people have hated this film. So I believe it goes in the upper middle of the watch list, but it goes with the caveat that if you're not into horror movies, you probably shouldn't see this film. If you're not a Cage fan, you probably shouldn't see this film. And if brain benders aren't your thing, this is not the film for you. This is a film that sinks its jaws into you slowly. It slowly sinks those teeth in, and then in the end, it is experienced, not watched. It just pushes you through this tunnel of strange, and then you come out the other end and you think, what just happened to me? Alright, so yes, that's this film. Upper middle of the watch list, but not for those who dislike horror movies. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I, of course, am Richard.
Randall the Rat here, reminding you to comment, like, and subscribe. And why should you do that? Well, look over here. These are bracelets from 4Ocean. Each one of them means a pound of trash was pulled out of the ocean. And this channel buys one for every 1,000 subscribers it gets. And this around my neck, well, this is a medal from the Conqueror. It represents walking around the Great Pyramids of Giza. You can get one for yourself by going to the Conqueror challenges.com and saying, hey, I want to pretend I walked around the pyramids of Giza without dealing with all the sweat and flies and delicious scarab beetles. Or you could support this channel so they can buy more of these, which means that they will plant trees, because each one of these represents 5 trees that got planted. Yeah, that's right, 5 trees, helping your environment. Global warming sucks. Be a good person, comment, like, and subscribe. Give us more money so that we can plant trees by buying medals from the Conqueror. Randall out.